Ladies and gentlemen of Knucklehead Nation, I am absolutely ecstatic this evening to be joined by none other than the new Fighters Rep and first ever Fighters Rep light middleweight champion of the world, Milshawn Kid Mills Lathan. Milshawn, how are you, young man?
Good man, I'm good. I'm great. Can't don't got a lot to complain about much these days. I'm good.
Yeah, man. Hey, you're looking good. You're cheesing. You got your belt in front of you. You got the Chargers hat on. You look like a man who means business, man. Tell me what's been going on through your mind since what you did a couple Saturdays ago in capturing that title.
It's been good, man. It's been just pure excitement. Pure jubilation, if you will. A lot of a lot of new friends now. Kind of trying to stay away from the noise, try to keep my head down, keep the main thing. But yeah, it's been good, man. With the and the performance, for sure, it's been a lot of celebration.
Yeah, man. You've been working for a while. You showed up at Fighters Rep. I mean, relatively speaking, not too long, right? It's been four fights, and in your fourth fight, you've managed to capture gold already. But you've had some other fights as well, I believe, in the background, maybe with smokers and whatnot, with some of these other promotions. But you've really concentrated, I believe, at Fighters Rep. Four fights, already captured a title, showing crazy talent in the Lions Den. A very impressive performance. Kind of walk me through, what your mentality was after, of course you suffered a big injury before this fight, and you mentioned it was difficult to even get back here, I mean, where were you at? Where were the lowest lows? Where are the highest highs? Kind of walk me through it.
Man, first of all, no better place to make my name, as an amateur kickboxer, trying to be pro rather than Lions Den.
Appreciate that, man.
It brings out a different dog in you. It really tells you a lot about yourself. A lot of people think they are this or that, or a lot of people would say, if I had the chance, I would do this or that. But under those lights, at Fighters Rep, you really get to find out who's who and who's really a dog. So that's just first off. Secondly, um, yeah, it's been a long road back, man. It's just even thinking about it right now, it's just very humbling, and I'm very grateful because there was times where I couldn't, jump around, couldn't throw kicks, couldn't punch, was pretty much on bed rest for 2 months straight. So
Yeah.
um, when I, finally got right and got good enough to like, start rehabbing and building my strength back up, it I remembered that, and I remembered the times where I couldn't move, and I couldn't be active and be fit, and it just fueled me. I attacked every workout like it was my last one. um, I on those days where I didn't want to show, flash back to those times I was like in the hospital, and I built up the discipline to show up, and just work hard. I really, really, really put in 100%, 110%. This camp and getting back, and I think it showed in my performance.
It really did, man. That was a really, really impressive performance, Milshon. You mentioned the Lions, then it brings the dog out of you. Obviously, we're very deliberate in trying to put you guys in there with somebody that we think will give you the best fight possible. We really try to make fights that we think will develop those guys, and what I mean by that is giving you guys the toughest fight that's available that you can win, but that the other fighter can win as well. We try to make it as 50-50 as possible. And you went in there and you were one of the real special performances of the night, right? Because you went in there and you did not allow for anything to happen. Before we get into that, though, you were off for 8 months. You had the abdominal surgery. You had all kinds of other stuff going on. I think that you mentioned on your Instagram, you were battling through a lot of adversity. When you got the call and you started the training camp, how did you feel? And I want to know, at what point did you feel, okay, I'm back? Like all those, at what point did those doubts wash away? Like, I'm not able to bounce around. I'm not able to be the Milshawn of old. At what point did you say, okay, I'm back and I'm a problem and I'm Milshawn again?
Yeah. It took, I mean, like I said, long run back, out 8 months, surgery in April, getting back, had a re-injury in the healing process that kind of set me back too. Um, and then yeah, once I kind of touching weight, getting back into training again, um, my coach was like, I think I was back. I think I got back in the gym like for kickboxing maybe for like a week before my coach was like, hey, look, like this date, this time, be ready. And I was like, okay, well that's interesting because I've been off for 2 months, in bed, so like, and but luckily that was
So is that how it works with Johnny? He just says, "Hey, this date, this time, be ready."
Hey, I mean, at Issue Fight Club, man, we're old school, man. Like, fighters fight, so that's pretty much it's as simple as that. So when something comes up or we catch wind of something, it's pretty much like yes or no. There's not really much excuses. There's not really much like, oh, but okay, if this, then I'll say, like, nah. John doesn't go for that. That's not really how I'm accustomed to moving anyway. So for me, I don't try to run away from any hardships. I like to like face my fears head on. I like to jump in the fire head first. I like to be the first to do something. I like to lead. In a world of followers, I take pride in that. So, yeah. Um, when I did get the call, it kind of honestly like distracted me from everything that was going on that was kind of like bad or like negative around me. And I was like, okay, cool. This is kind of a perfect opportunity, a clean slate, a way to kind of, you know, put myself in position to fight. And then, if I'm not, not feeling good, or if I'm not, ever back or to the old me, then, you know, I'll learn on that night, in the lines then. So
Yeah.
to answer your question, there wasn't really any time where I felt like, oh, I'm back again. I'm Mills. I'm him again. It was more so like, don't be so caught up in trying to create a new version, a new old version. Just focus on that new version and focus on that grind and focus on becoming the best you right now with what you got. Um, so yeah, it was when I saw the opportunity to fight Michael Clay, and especially for the belt, and especially like with all the adversity that I was facing, you know, I was like, yeah, let's do it. Like it would make it more gangster to me if I fucking came through like I did. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
more of a reflection of who I am.
It's very interesting that being scheduled for a fight, which is something that I would imagine would be very nerve wracking because you now have a deadline in your head, which I can relate to very well as I'm the one, putting these shows together constantly. You have a deadline in your head. You got to be prepared. You got to be ready. But for whatever reason, in the chaos of life, you found serenity in that. It's almost like
Mm-hmm.
you work opposite of the way a person normally would. I guess you must have been really going through a lot at that point, and it allowed you to focus.
Yeah, it was definitely a good distraction from what I was going through, and yeah, for me, it's just like, okay, you know, this is the hand I was dealt. As shitty as it might be, I got to play the cards how I can play them, and I'm gonna always play them to the best of my ability. So yeah, when I got the opportunity, I just thought of all the bad shit that I could have been like, no, I'm not gonna fight because this and or that, or I was like, nah, like you know, compartmentalize all that and be a fucking G and go do it. And especially like, fighting for the belt, it's a good opportunity to, really learn more about myself. It's not really about anybody else. It's about for me and learning about me and being like the optimal male and the journey towards that. So, I like to take risks, no pressure, no diamond, no risk it, no biscuit. So,
I love
yeah,
it. I love it. I love it. And if you guys are just joining us now, be sure to subscribe, join the channel. Any, super chat you drop in here, we're going to share it with Milshawn. And of course, follow Milshawn at Kid Mills on Instagram. It's Kid Mills. Am I right? Kid
yes, sir.
Mills?
Kid Mills, KIDMILZ.
Give him a follow. This kid is really something else, as he showed at Fighters Rep 20, and you're going to want to catch him at the next Fighters Rep, which, obviously we hope we have you back there to defend your title. So it sounds to me like, you know, I guess to answer my question, it was, I'm not sure if I'm back or not. I'm going to put my nose to the grindstone. I'm going to train and I'm going to see whatever happens on
Yeah,
the night. Is that what it was?
yeah, like let's find out if I'm back or not. Like rather than stressing myself out with the internal questions that I'm already going through, like as I accept a fight and you have that deadline and you're trying to put in the work for that, you know, for me, it's simpler to just, put in the work, handle what I can handle on that given day, 1% every day, and hopefully it accumulates to something great on, fight night. So
Yeah. Was there any doubt on your part or Johnny's part? Like, man, like I'm coming off, I was bedridden for 2 months. I mean, there was no kind of hesitation, no doubt.
no, no hesitation, no doubt, just delusion. Um,
Wow, man.
um, like I said, I like to jump in head first and jump right into the fire and take those risks. So like, I knew whatever way it went, I was gonna have something to take away from it, good or bad, And the main important thing was just learning about myself and my own self development. So really, there was no pressure on me, to be honest, like good or bad. Whether I want to twist it into like, oh, if Michael beats me, then this is the reasons why, or if I
Yeah.
won, then these are all the reasons why I won. Haha, like I'm fucking, I'm him. Um, for me, it was just like, keep the main thing the main thing. You haven't fought this year. You don't want to leave the year without fighting, especially if you're ready. And I did say yes to the fight with Mago Gutierrez on the Fighters Rep card before, and that was the real one where I was like, came off of like bedridden, came to the gym. Johnny's like, "Yo, you have a fight this day," and I was like, "What? Like, okay, like, I'm who am I to say no? You're the coach. If you think I'm
Yeah.
ready, I can do it.
Yeah.
I trust that Johnny's not gonna put me in that position, put me through anything that I can't handle." So yeah, when I got that call, I was like, yeah. And then, due to things under my control, it fell out. And then this opportunity came. And yeah, it was really just, validation that I was following, what I was supposed to be doing because, it was first fight this year for the belt. How could I say no,
And the best performance, if you ask me,
right?
of your career, and the best performance of the night,
Mm-hmm.
and one of the best performances we've ever seen. I mean, me and you discussed it briefly, right? There's only been maybe two other stoppages in the history of Fighters Rep quicker than that one. Maybe two, right? I know Khalil Silva's was one, maybe Yadir's, I'm not sure. I know he had a fast one, but the opposition that you did it against, me and you discussed this. I mean, Michael Claycomb is a legitimate
Yeah.
fighter. Michael Claycomb is a Muay Thai champion. Michael Claycomb is a very versed, karate fighter and striker at this point. I wouldn't even just refer to him. I joke with him. I tell him, you say you're a karate guy, but you've got a Muay Thai title and you've fought nothing but kickboxing amateur fights besides that.
Yeah.
You're a
Yeah.
you're a karate.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You're a karate guy, like I'm a, I don't know, like I'm a medical doctor. That's what you
Yeah.
are. But yeah, to do that, in the situation you were coming back from, with the adversity you had faced, with the unknown. I mean, you were basically like, man, it sounds like the unknown, man. I mean, if I were to just come off of being bedridden for a couple months after surgery, and my coach just told me, hey, be ready, and I just started training, I wouldn't know what to expect from myself on fight night.
And I didn't. But I felt like a weird sense of security in that because like I know the work I put in. Like I know a lot of these dudes aren't doing what I'm doing, especially with a full time job and driving from Riverside to Huntington Beach and God knows where to all my other sessions and stuff like that. So like I knew off that alone, I'm like mentally I'm willing to go through a lot more than these guys. So for that was just kind of it right up my alley, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah. And big shout out to Coach Pot. He says, I got to wrap Mills' hands before I knew he had power.
Coach Pop, the goat. It's up on the park.
Shout out to Coach Pot. So you're in Riverside and you drive to Huntington Beach to get work in at HB Fight Club.
Yes, sir.
Very good. And of course, big shout out to Johnny Mercurio. I mean, who was
The goat.
obviously the reason
The
you're
goat.
sitting there with that belt in front of you, I would imagine.
Yes, sir. The only reason. The only reason.
Wow, man. Wow. Wow. So HB Fight Club, I've been working with you guys a couple years now only, and you guys have made a huge splash, and you're the first one that, wins a title out of that camp. And really, I feel like you're really showing the pedigree of that camp. And this is what I want to say too, Milshan, and correct me if I'm wrong. But I mean, 4 fights in, really, 4 amateur fights in. Okay, maybe like a little smoker or point fight here or there or whatever it was. But really, 4 amateur kickboxing fights in, and a performance like that and winning a title at Fighters Rep, and I feel like you haven't really scratched the surface either. I mean, I feel like you're a tremendous athlete, right? Obviously, you're a tremendous athlete. But I feel like as far as your fighting technique, you're still just scratching the surface of that. Kind of tell me how you feel about that, because I feel like you're still very green, but you're performing
Yeah.
with the confidence and with the ability of somebody that's very experienced.
100%. Like you said, we've been working together for a couple of years now, and I think outside of that, I think I was training maybe for like a year and a half, 2 years max, like ever punching, kicking, anything, coming from football. So like, yeah, it's like I feel like I haven't even touched the surface on like how good I can be or what I can be in the sport, and I'm still learning so much about myself, even like under the lights on those fight nights, in training every day and stuff like that. So yeah, no, I definitely have not scratched the surface of where I could be. You've only seen the top of that iceberg, but if you know anything about icebergs, the bottom underwater is where all the
Very deep, very deep.
so yeah, man, my bag is deep, man, and I haven't it yet, but I can't wait to have those opportunities as time comes on. So yeah, I'm just 26-second knockout, 4 fights in against a dangerous opponent. That should just tell you, what we're doing at the club and the coaching I'm under and the people that are around me. So, like you said, first one to break through, but the cavalry is coming.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And Michael was talking a little bit in the lead up to this fight, and that you developed a little bit of a chip on your shoulder. You
Look,
mentioned in the post fight. I saw you also mouthing it immediately after the fight. They said, I don't have power. People told me I don't have power. Be careful what you wish for. You showed that was a tremendous, again, on top of everything that you went through to come through and show that kind of fight stopping power that had to feel good.
oh yeah, 100%, and that's just a testament to, like I said, Johnny, the club, and at Eric Ocho Fitness on Instagram. That's my strength coach. We put in a ton of work doing all the scientific stuff, all the stuff. We don't leave any stone unturned when it comes to my strength and conditioning. So that's just a testament to those guys, and I'm just a vessel, for them to work through. But yeah, as far as the work, that's all those coaches, man. That's all them.
Yeah, and of course, we mentioned Johnny. I mean, he's the one that's kind of developed you as a fighter. But you've got this football background, obviously a very athletic background, and you mentioned Ocho Fitness to me a couple times now. Tell me a little bit about the athleticism from football, how you've been able to capitalize on that, and Ocho Fitness. Let's give them their flowers as well, because you've mentioned to me a couple times as well, and they deserve to be recognized for what they've done with you. I mean, you look. I think I told you in there. All I saw was like a leopard flying across the ring. I was like, "What is this? Who is this guy?" It was like whoosh. You know what I mean? Like flying around. You looked in tremendous shape.
Yeah, man. I guess first of all, with Ocho Fitness, at Eric Ocho at Instagram, at Ocho Fitness 34 on Instagram. That's my strength coach, man. We put in the work. I just came from there right now. So if you think I'm resting, Don't fucking kid yourself. But yeah, man, we put in a lot of work, man. He does a lot on the research and development side as well. Not just I'm not just throwing around weight for no reason, doing bench, doing all these workouts. There's actually a rhyme and rhythm
Yeah.
method to the madness. And it works. Try to go there, 4 to 5 days a week on top of kickboxing and stuff. And
Yeah.
yeah, just trying to move like a professional, man. Trying to just I see everybody watches the UFC, watches One, watches Bellator, PFL, whatever, and you and if you're really a student of the game, you're watching how those guys are working, and if you really want to be that, then it's pretty much copy and paste. It's not that this isn't rocket science. Just work
Yeah.
hard. You know, don't leave any stone unturned, and you can find those right people, find those people that you trust, and put your all into them like they will you, and yeah, you do great things.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you too, man. I mean, did you feel any did you feel anything at the weigh-in? Did you feel anything in the lead up to the fight? Because I mean, did you feel you were going to have this sort of performance? Because I'll tell you, when I saw you at the weigh-in, right? I know you came in. I know this was a division, maybe a couple divisions up from where you normally fight at, right? I mean, I want to say you normally would fight at at 147. Am I right?
155.
155, right? 155. Sorry. So you came in a whole division up. You went up to 159 to take this fight. But man, at weigh-in, you looked absolutely shredded. You looked healthy, right? It wasn't like a gaunt, like some of these guys, they look like they're starving, they look sick. No, man, you looked shredded, but you looked healthy. I mean, did you sense the magic that was produced in the Lions Den at Fighters Rep 20 ahead of time? Because that was a surreal performance.
No, it's actually funny you say that because once again, Ojo Fitness, AG Fight Club, we put in the work. Um, Secondly, I actually got fucking sick, like pretty fucking bad, the week before fight week, like pretty bad. I had a fever, coughing up phlegm, like for
Wow.
4 or 5 days. I
Wow.
didn't get like right until like I didn't feel like energized until like maybe the Wednesday of fight week. It's funny. I was hitting miss with Johnny on Monday of that week, and I'm like, damn, like I feel like I still feel like shit. Like I don't know what we're gonna do. It's like
Yeah. Yeah.
but I've been through worse, and considering everything that I've come back from, that was kind of just another like okay, another hurdle, another small hurdle, like whatever. We're gonna do what we can, and show up on fight night, and hope for the best. But I did not know I was gonna have that performance. The weight cut was as great as you can imagine. I didn't really have to cut much, if any at all. A couple pounds, at home, and then on the drive there, a couple of other things. But I felt great. The weight cut was perfect. That was definitely the best I've felt since I was fighting Fighters Rep. Yeah, so I'm
Wow.
not shocked. Like I'm not shocked. I'm not surprised at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, I felt fucking great. In the lead up for sure. And yeah, I guess that's what you can expect from me at 150.
Oof. And what can we expect? I mean, are you going to stick around at that weight? Because maybe the little bit of extra weight
Yeah,
allowed you to hold more power. I mean, I don't know, or maybe you just had an incredible performance. I mean, are we expecting you to stay at 159, or are we going to drop back down? Because I have heard from your camp you're interested perhaps in defending this title and perhaps going for another one in another division. You're willing to even drop down. I mean, but I want to hear it from you. I want to know what it is that you're trying to do.
yeah, definitely. Right now, all focused on the defense. I'm not a real champion, so I defend. So that's first and foremost. But yeah, in my perfect world, I'd like to defend and then go back down to get that 55 strap.
Yeah.
Just test myself, push myself more. When I envisioned fighting for Fighters Rep, it was at 155. 60 or 59 kind of just it feels right. Don't get I'm not gonna twist that up at all.
Yeah.
To have a future here. And I mean I'm the champ, so I want 159 to go through me. But yeah, no, I definitely want 2 straps around around my shoulders, and yeah, but definitely before I turned pro.
And you're a bit, you're a tall guy. I mean, Mills, you're a tall guy. I mean, I feel like you can drop, which is incredible considering your height, but I feel like you could also gain some weight and go up one division and
Sure,
potentially win a title there as well.
for sure, for sure. I'd be lying to you if I said like 165, 170 isn't out of reach. It's definitely feasible, but I just don't know that's where my future, in
Yeah.
fight is going to be. So I'm not closing any doors, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, 60, 55, 60. That's kind of where I want to
Yeah.
make my name.
Tell me, kind of walk me through walking out to the ring, doing what you did, the aftermath. Kind
Mm.
of walk me through it, especially in the moment of what you did and the aftermath, because you were very, very emotional, which I completely understand. I mean, not many people on the planet can say they won a kickboxing title, right? First and foremost, especially coming back from the adversity you did. But if you could just walk me through that, because man, your emotions were very raw, very strong, very real, man. I could see it, and it was, it was a sight to behold. It really was. It was a nice thing to see.
Nice, nice. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, before the fight, it was very chill. Like, it was a nice day outside. Never complaining about, waking up, every day. So it was good. I'm always chill on any fight or training. Um, when I got to the arena, that's when I kind of like, all right, like, starting to feel it, starting to feel the, jumpy, those butterflies. And then like I'll say a thousand more times, Ocho Fitness, Eric, we put in the work, man. So we did a lot of things. We switched it up a little bit for this fight camp in terms of like the last week. Usually I'm still like working, pushing pretty hard and during fight week. But this week we kind of tapered off, focused on just more like calisthenics and stretching and more just like lighter, more explosive stuff. Just so I, kept that speed and felt fast as I'm cutting and stuff like that. And then but we did some stuff the day before I started cutting Thursday that like I was like, okay, like I feel like that if I did like pinpoint any moment that day after that workout, I was like, all right, like I feel fast, I feel light on my feet, I feel explosive, like okay, like but I honestly was like, it was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday where I was still kind of working. So I was like, all right, let me take Friday off, give my body that like recovery it needs. Plus the weight cut so I can rehydrate and then come out on Saturday and do my shit. So
So you knew on Thursday of fight week that you were dialed in.
I knew Thursday of fight week that I was like back energized and feeling explosive, like especially coming off being sick and like not being able to really like breathe right without coughing and stuff like that. Like I knew on Thursday, after having Wednesday kind of feeling good, that Thursday I was like, okay, like yeah, like, I'm ready to I feel yeah, like I'm ready to get in there.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, in the back, it was great. It was hitting mitt. We were hitting mitts. I was next to Cam. I forget who.
You were co-main event and Cam was main event.
But I forget who. Samoan Thor. I think he is on
Oh, okay. Anthony Taufi, Samoan Thor. Yep.
the energy up in the back in the blue corner for the blue corner. He was talking a lot of shit, and it was just good energy. So it kind of like it was just like it made it like whatever jitters or anxiety or fear like I had, it was kind of just like all right, it's all mental. Like it's all 90% how you react, 10% what happens. So like once the energy was kind of like more of a chill vibe, more of like a party vibe, like more of like a put on for the blue corners, so like part type vibe. I was like, all right, like I'm ready to kind of just put on and get out there. Like I want to get out there. I hate waiting. The lead up to the fight, like that's like the worst part for me. Like the unknown. Like you're just waiting. Like I'm like, did I put in enough work? Did I do enough? Did I? What fight is this? I gotta get taped at this fight. I gotta do all like I just if I can just wake up in the morning at like 7 a.m. being there by 6:10, like that'd be just perfect for me. But obviously,
Yeah.
procedures and stuff like that. But yeah, no, the energy in the back was great. Still felt explosive when I was hitting mitts. And yeah, it was just it was. I felt loose. Um, Definitely wasn't nervous. I felt great. The weight cut helped. The extra weight helped. Um, and yeah,
Fun entrance. It was a good, fun entrance. You were
yeah.
having fun on the way in. You were bouncy.
I always like to, put a song on that's gonna kind of get me going. That'll get me like that'll like, get my energy up, let me
Yeah.
bounce, let me dance a little, let me rap a little. And that'll kind of exude the energy will kind of exude to the crowd from there, and especially with how I fight and my fighting style, it's energy. It's very, in your face, very exciting. So yeah, everything was good. There wasn't it was pretty much on par with what happened that night, whether it would have been a minute in or 3 rounds in, it was, the inevitable. It would have happened regardless.
Yeah. Yeah. And you were landing that right hand, man. I mean, you just came out. You came out very aggressive. You were right in his face. I mean, you were not back. You were the ring general. You were walking him down. I mean, kind of walk me through that strategy and explain to me how you saw the fight unfold. Because what I saw was you just you just ran up right on him, and it's almost like you were trying to get him out of there immediately. You were just trying to get him out. You
Yeah,
know?
that's never really my mindset going in. Always, I know this is my moneymaker. Um, I don't think there's too many dudes on the planet that could take this square on the chin.
The
So,
right hand. The
yeah,
right hand.
I'm very confident in that, regardless of who it is, where it is, whatever.
I
Uh,
love it. I love it.
but in terms of the stylistically, he has that karate stance, that karate style. And I wanted to be very wary of just giving him that space to get his kicks off, and just to do other like funky stuff, funky tricks that I've seen on film, and like other things that he like Sugar Bomb does.
Yeah.
So I did want to come out and like take his space away, not necessarily to that extent, but you know the adrenaline in the fight and just me being I like the fight, I like to fight, I love to fight. I don't mind, slugging it out and brawling. So like,
You don't. You really don't. You really don't. I remember that from that Gutierrez fight.
yeah. So when yeah, I just was like, okay, I know that I don't know if he likes to brawl. So I'm just gonna be like, let's fight. Like let's make this a real fight. Let's fight, and let's see who can do whatever. Like I was coming into this fight, I also trained hard because he's a very dangerous opponent. He can fight. He was by far my most potential opponent. Like there's not even a close second to what he's done so far.
Yeah.
Um, and I had that healthy fear of him and his style, and just the sugar bomb and whatever. So
What was the strategy? I mean, because again, you basically just blitzed him. I mean, you just blitzed him, and I don't know. For me, I mean, with your speed and your length, I would have thought maybe you want to kind of keep him at the end of a jab or something. But you just went in there and blitzed him and just took him. I mean, you just took it to him. You just took him out. Was that the game plan?
no, the game plan wasn't blitz. The game plan was definitely box him up because I knew, like, just I respect Michael like a hell of a lot, but I
Yeah.
knew boxing wise, my boxing's on a different level than his. Just off like that, I train it more. Like I'm just like I'm more of a boxing style fighter.
Yeah.
So like I knew I had the advantage in that department. So at this point, I'm like, all right, all I gotta do is check the kick, which I didn't do, but like just the high kicks, and I'll be good. So no, my plan is always to run and take the center, just because it's very uncomfortable not being in the center. So I'd rather be
I
comfortable in
see.
the center.
I see. I see.
So yeah, it was just, my right hand is my money is the strategy for every fight I have. Like whether I know you or not, whether I've heard of you or not, whether I've seen you fight or not, whether I've watched you fight or not, like my right hand is coming. Just know, like for anybody watching this, like it's coming. Just know. Um, and yeah, if you can take it, then we'll try to get to plan B. But if not, then
You got to eat this right hand.
back
Yeah.
So yeah, right hand will take me. It's gonna take me around the world, man. I promise. I said it after the fight. I'll say it a million times more. This right hand is special. It's a God ordained. It's
Yeah.
illuminated. God.
And I almost feel like your approach in the fight that, it was it was very aggressive. And you guys were both like, it seemed like you guys were very tense. Like you guys just,
Hmm.
and he had to be on his P's and Q's. It's almost like he was maybe surprised by how aggressive you came out.
Hmm.
And I feel like it kind of put him on in a defensive posture and made him uncomfortable. And you just kept finding that right hand over and over again. I mean, you were also landing, you were setting it up with the left, but bam, you were landing that right hand, dropped him real quick, landed it again. It was over. I mean, did you see the right hand when you got in there? Did you see it before on film? I mean, did you know that that was going to be the punch that ended the fight?
Yes, but not due to anything like opponent wise. Like I said, it's the game plan for everybody.
I
Like
see.
when Christian O'Brien is like, "Yo, my right hand, nobody can take this." Like this is what like that's you just saw what it
I
really is.
see. I see.
You
I
just
see.
saw what it's really like. So for
Let
me,
me
like,
ask you though. Let me ask you though. I mean, we've seen you in a couple wars
mhm,
before this fight. I mean, your fight against Ty Brown was a war. In your fight against Michael Gutierrez was an absolute. I mean, that was a slugfest. I mean, I was there. You guys
yeah,
were piecing
well,
each other up in that fight. I mean, is this right
oh,
hand something that's just come about? Do you feel like you just hadn't been able to deliver it the way you wanted to? I mean, because this was if this right hand, if that's what the right hand is going to be doing going forward, it's a tremendous weapon.
um, yeah, I mean, many factors. I would say, one, I have fought some fucking tough ass dudes who have taken it. Mind you, they've taken it in headgear, so like, more power to them.
Yeah, yeah,
But uh, in the Gutierrez fight specifically, I remember hitting him with a right hand off a low kick that he threw, and I remember like just dropping a right hand like just straight to his face, and like he was still just standing there, and I'm like, damn, like okay, like that, like I felt like that was a good right. Um,
some
and
of
then
these guys are just tough as
no,
shit, man.
tough, but I think I was underestimated a little bit by Sugar Bomb and his team, not in any way that's disrespectful, just because
Yeah,
you look at my track record, like 4 fights in, all those fights I've had headgear. This is my first fight, no headgear. First time going 5 rounds. He's probably fought 4 times within the last 4 months when I was off surgery. He's already has a belt in another division. He's fought karate combat, so he knows the lights. Like
yeah,
I yeah, I think they probably thought I wasn't gonna come like that, and I wasn't gonna come with I guess the reckless abandon that I did. But
yeah,
I wouldn't like to say it was reckless. It was more so like I'm excited to be in there. I've been waiting like literally the whole year to fight, and like
yeah,
I
yeah,
I needed to know where I was at. Like I needed definitive answers, whether it was a win or a loss. So like I needed to know like okay, like what you're doing is working, or like two, we need to go back to the drawing board and like really be meticulous about when you're taking fights and where those fights are. But yeah, we got
yeah.
the needed.
Coach Pot is in here. He says, I watched his body mechanics on his right hand. Mills has the most powerful right cross I have ever seen. That's a serious
Coach Pop,
comment coming from Coach
yeah,
Pot, who has been in this fight game
yeah,
for
knows,
decades.
he knows what he's talking about for sure. For
Yeah, and he says, I've been telling everybody about Mills, everyone about Mills.
work, Pot. I need to come to martial arts, get some work, my guy.
And I we all saw it, right? I mean, that's why we made this title fight. That's why I made this title fight along with Hung. We saw it, we knew you had the talent. My question was, Gary thought you were going to win. He's not here today, unfortunately.
Yeah,
He's dealing with some
I,
issues.
I hear his synopsis of how he came about, how
Yeah.
that came about.
Gary just saw something in you. It just made him think that you were going to win the fight. Me personally, I wasn't sure. I thought it was very 50-50. I thought both you were good fighters. What concerned me about your side more than anything was your layoff. I'm a big proponent of you guys staying active,
Exactly.
staying healthy. So I thought to myself, man, if Milshawn comes out the way he normally comes out, this is going to be. I thought to myself, this is going to be like a 5-round war, or like a 4 or 5-round war.
Honestly, I really,
That's what I. That's
I,
what I thought was going to happen.
I thought a 5 round, just a fight of the night. We're
Yeah,
both
yeah.
we're bloody, beat up, like just ugh.
But you came out like a lion, like on that belt, and you just. I mean, I mean, that was a fantastic performance. It- What was going through your mind? I mean, you come out there, you land that first right. I mean, what are you thinking?
So I landed the first right, um, just being aggressive like I always am. But after that first, excuse me, after that first one landed, like I was telling the boys, like my boys, like it literally felt like I was like Steph Curry and I just had knocked down like 5 threes. Like I was like 6, 7, 8 is going in. Like these threes are going, like they're gonna hit. Like
Yeah, yeah,
after I knocked down the first time, I literally just like it's almost like if I had like spidey senses. Like I could have been on the other side of the cage of the ring, and he could be on the other side, and I put out through it, it would have landed. Like that's how it literally felt.
wow, wow,
Like that's literally, yeah. Like it was one of those weird things where like I was just in the zone. Like and like even on the video, like when I dropped him the first time, and then standing 8 count fight, it's literally that next one too that like gets him out. So like literally, like yeah, it was literally like just snake eyes. Like every roll of dice, like was a
yeah,
flop.
wow, man, wow. And so you land that next one too. Mark Reyes comes in, he waves the fight off. He's seen enough. And you just explode, man. You're bouncing all over the ring. They're trying to calm you down. You borderline start crying. You're borderline laughing. You're borderline celebrating. You're jumping up and down. Your family's screaming for you. I mean, tell me what's going through your mind at that point.
Like I said, man, I trained hard. Like shout out to Michael Claycomb and Sugar Bomb and the rest of the gym, man. Like they're legit. They're legit fighters, no matter what noise they're hearing. After Saturday or whatever they may be hearing, like they're legit. They're legit martial artists, and I have respect for them. And it was a healthy fear. I would have those weird moments where I'm out with friends and like it just pops in my head like, oh, like Sugar Bomb's probably training right now, like, and I'm just like fuck, like shit, like I gotta go now. Now I gotta get out of here. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's the healthy fear I had. So after I did finish him and Mr. Ray stopped it, I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh shit, like that's it, like I literally thought I was coming out there just battered, bloody. Like I thought like I like literally was thinking the worst, like in the lead up. Um, but then yeah, to go out there and do that, it was just a culmination of all the emotions I've been feeling like this whole year and like just
Yeah.
everything that I've been through coming into my head and like yeah, just like it's that being the man in the arena. Like people don't understand. Like if you never fought before or you've never like took a risk or put yourself out there, it's a lot. Like I'm fighting a complete stranger in front of like 2,500 other strangers. Like what I'm saying, like I don't know what the fuck's gonna happen in there. I know I'm confident in the work that I put in and that I put myself in position, to receive my blessings or whatever. But when it actually happens and you actually like get that validation and can validate the people that believe in you and put in work in you, then yeah, it's overwhelming for sure.
Yeah. Incredible, incredible performance, man. Not something anybody's ever going to forget. I'll tell you that much. These quick knockouts and these crazy situations like this under the lights for a title. That's something that you're going to be able to carry with you for the rest of your life, the rest of your career. And going forward, I mean, immediate future, you know, I believe we have a challenger for you. I do believe we have a challenger for you that's very interested in fighting you. We'll be revealing that to you in your camp soon, assuming that's what you want to do. Of course, sometimes you guys want to go do something else, Muay Thai, MMA, whatever it is. But we will be offering you a fight shortly. But in the immediate future, what are you looking to do? And then in the long term, I mean, what can we expect from you?
Immediate future, man, just continuing to put in work, just continuing to be 1% better every day. In terms of specific plans, I still got to talk to Johnny and he's got to lay out the roadmap for me and stuff like that. But right now, just enjoying the holidays and enjoying the fam time and the time off and um, the fake rest, I guess you could say, because I'm not really resting. But
Yeah.
yeah, future man, I want to just create a name for myself, as big as I can get. Um, I want the big fights. I want the big opportunities. Um, I'm in this to get paid. I'm in this to be a star. I'm in this for legacy. I want to be a legend. I don't want to be somebody who just looks up when they're 30 and like like damn it, like if I would have just been disciplined or found the motivation, then like nah, that's my worst fear. I want to be somebody who can just impact others, in a positive way, whether
Mhm.
that's me rising to the top or me being kind of an example of like how to take a L. But yeah, the main goal is just legacy. Um, I refuse to believe that you can just leave this earth and just be a speck and just like and that's it. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
people need to
Is
know
it
people need to know my name. So that's what I'm building towards.
is it MMA? You see yourself doing kickboxing, Muay Thai? What is it that you see yourself doing big in the future?
Man, that's a good question.
Headlining a fighters rep card at the Forum. I mean, what do you see yourself doing?
Yeah, I would love that. That'd be fucking great. Shit. I mean, hey, if we can meet in the middle of the forum, that'd be great. That'd be great. But I mean, obviously, everybody sees Conor McGregor, Adesanya, all those guys, and like want to be in the UFC. But for me, um, anywhere that'll kind of allow me to continue to honor the sport. I don't want to lose my way in this game. With the fake stuff and the politics and just the antics and just not being myself. Whichever promotion, whether that's one championship, UFC, PFL, whatever, like whatever a door is opened and I can, take an opportunity and kind of, just glorify myself and just show my talent. That's where I'll go.
Yeah.
Obviously, you want to get paid and you want to get paid the most as much money as you can, but
Mhm.
it will come as I stay, to stay disciplined and stay down 10 toes, stay standing on business. So I don't shut off any doors. I'm talented enough to do MMA, kickboxing, Muay Thai, whatever I want to do. So yeah, just kind of want to be in position to do all of it.
I love it. I love it. Ladies and gentlemen, your light middleweight champion, Milshawn Lathan. Milshawn, I really appreciate your time this evening. Before I let you go, and obviously March 2nd is the next fighters rep in California. We're aiming for February 17th in South Florida. Tickets go on sale December 6th. But before I let you go, and again, obviously I want you to defend your title March 2nd. Hopefully we can make that happen. I wanted to say, is there anything you want to say? Is there anyone you want to shout out? The floor is yours before I let you go.
Shout out to just everybody who supports me, everybody that left a comment in support of me, and anybody that believes in me, and anybody that picked me to win. Huh? How about that? Huh? But yeah, seriously though, thank you to the HG Fight Club, Eric Finish. Thank you for you to this opportunity. You keep just forking out the opportunities, man. And I'm grateful to fight, under such a great promotion, and to do things like this, which people don't get to, win kickboxing titles or do live interviews or even some people just go by and just die and that's it and they just
That's right. That's right.
yeah, so I'm always grateful to be out here and just just risking it and being the man in the arena. So yeah, man, shout out to my team, shout out to the club, shout out to Eric, shout out to Ocho Fitness, and yeah, see you guys real soon, don't trip.
Look forward to it, ladies and gentlemen of Knucklehead Nation. One more time, give him a follow. Kid Mills on Instagram. That's KIDMILZ. Feel free to reach out to him and sponsor him. Drop a super chat. We'll share the profit with him.
Sure.
And hopefully, we see him on March 2nd
Mm-hmm.
in the Los Angeles Fighters Rep 22.
That's right.
And, I think we're going to be seeing some great stuff. out
Yes.
of Mills Sean Lathan. Thank you so much for your time, Mills. Really appreciate it, man.
Thank you. You too, George. Thank you, man. Appreciate
And
it.
stay true to yourself, man. I want to say before I let you go, I'm very impressed with your character as a man,
Thank you.
and not
Thank you.
just your ability to fight, but your
Thank,
character as a man, bro. You're like, you're a breath of fresh air of the fight game for sure, man.
thank you, man. Thank
All
you.
right, man.
Always.
Have a great one. Appreciate you, man.
You too. Have a great one.
All right.